the best non-carbon plated running shoes for running fast. Let's get into it. Carbon plated running shoes. When it comes to race day, 9 times out of 10, you will see a pair of carbons. That's just what we wear nowadays. It's what we do, what we use to run fast. However, when it comes to training, but still wanting to run fast, we're increasingly seeing people ditch the carbon plated running shoes for a bunch of reasons. Some like to follow the science, which is pointing towards the fact that too much carbon plated running is making us weaker, and weaker tendons and muscles equal higher injury risk. Some people are ditching the carbons because they want to feel more of a benefit when they get to race day, having avoided them in their training block. And some people just can't justify the price. They can be quite pricey. So today we're going to go through which non-carbon plated running shoes, in my opinion, that I have used in my own training. As someone who used to be semi-decent as an athlete back in the day, is now finding his way back into the sport for a bit of fun. I'm planning to run a sub 15-minute 5K this year, so I have trained in every single pair of shoes that I'm about to talk to you about, and I'm going to give you honest reasoning as to why I think they're great, which ones will be right for you. Little disclaimer before going into this. This video is obviously not sponsored. Channel's not that big at this stage. None of these brands have reached out to me to talk nicely about the shoes. However, I am a sports shoes ambassador. Sports shoes, if you didn't know, are a huge running shoe, running apparel, sports retailer, and I am a sports shoes ambassador because I've got some clout over on the old Instagram. So obviously, with that being said, I want to be completely upfront and honest. I am a sports shoes ambassador. However, like I say, I'm pretty much free to say what I want about these shoes, and I wouldn't have any of these shoes in my rotation if I thought they were trash. So yeah, right guys, stick around to the end of this video because I've got a pair of shoes that I don't think really fit into the category of the rest of these shoes. However, I do really like them for running faster. You're never going to guess what it is, but have a go at guessing down below. What are the shoes that I'm going to show you at the end of this video that I think are super underrated when it comes to running faster in? Let me know. No cheating. Trust me, I'll know if you cheated. I won't know if you cheated, but anyway. Aubrey from the running channel, I'm sorry, I'm about to bite your flow. We have the Saucony Endorphin Azura. Now these, a bunch of hype about them when they first came out a couple months ago, and rightly so. They're a non-carbon plated, and I believe non-plated at all, fast shoe alternative for your training runs. They were also supposed to be an Evo SL rival. Apparently, I mean, what shoe that comes out these days isn't an Evo SL rival, but we'll talk about that shoe later on, because it might appear in the video. But yeah, I was one of the lucky few that got to get these before they came out. As you can, if I can show you the label, as you can see, the sample sticker on the inside. These are not for resale. I will not be selling these. Don't worry, Saucony, I won't sell them. But yeah, these are a lot of people's favorite when it comes to non-carbon plated, like session training shoes where you want to run fast, and I can see why. It's got a nice little bit of a rocker on them. I'm not very scientific when it comes to rockers, and I believe these retail at £140, Great British pounds. You can convert that to dollars, but I think at the moment you can grab them for just under 100 quid. So I would say they're worth it for that price. I've done a good few sessions in these, longer tempos. You could even do some shorter, faster reps in these if you really wanted to. Not the lightest of all the shoes in this lineup, but I would say, they're not clunky by any stretch of the imagination, and nor should they be. If you're looking for something in the Saucony lineup that isn't carbon plated but is still fast, these are definitely a good shoe, and these aren't the only pair of Saucony non-carbon plated fast shoes in the lineup today, so yeah, stay tuned for that. And by stay tuned, I mean the Saucony Endorphin Speed 5. Now this one, unlike the Azura, is actually plated, but not with carbon. And as a little heads up, there are a couple of other shoes in this lineup that are plated, but they're not carbon plated or carbon infused, which is the big daddy when it comes to plates in running shoes. These will be way less aggressive than having a full-on carbon plate in the middle of the soft bit of your trainer. It won't be as bouncy or as responsive, and it won't be able to hold that potential energy return as well as obviously a carbon plate could do. So these are pretty decent. These are a bit lighter than the Azura as an option. I would prefer these for more track-based reps. So I look at these as like an old school flat. So you remember like the old school streaks or streak flies or streak LTs if you're an OG. These remind me of those. They still have again, non-scientific, they still have a slight rocker on these, but these are a little bit more flatter to the ground in my opinion. But again, with that Pebex or plasticky plate they have in the middle of them, they're very quite responsive, quite bouncy, a little bit more aggressive in my opinion than the Azura. But yeah, this is the plastic plated option when it comes to the non-carbon plated Saucony shoes. Very good, very nice. I prefer the Azura for like the tempo reps, threshold runs, and this one for like some short intervals, track intervals if you like. But yeah, next up on the lineup, we're going to switch up the brands to, boom, Hoka. I do like a Hoka, I can't lie. These are the Hoka Mac 7s. There's a few Macs in this lineup. This is just the Hoka Mac 7, the newest of the 3 Hoka shoes that are in this lineup. Now, this one is, I believe, non-plated at all. I don't think it has a plastic plate in there. And this again was this was Hoka's version of what was supposed to be apparently an Evo SL killer. So another shoe that's an Evo SL killer. Again, like the Endorphin Speed 5, I look at these as a little bit more like a flat, like an old school flat. However, people like to use them for apparently everything. I don't personally believe this is an all-rounder. I think this is perfect for like track intervals, faster reps, just because it's a bit more minimal, it's very light. But I really like these. I've done a double threshold second session of the day in these, in that video. It's gonna go somewhere here. And I really like these, just get into a nice flow. But you could, if you wanted to, do like a longer tempo run or a threshold run in these. These are pretty decent, and I believe these retail cheap as chips at the moment. I think you can grab these for like 85 quid or something like that, so bargain for these. And if you are supposed to use these for, you know, as an all-rounder, then even more of a bargain. But 85 quid, I use them for sort of intervals, track sort of stuff, but you could use them, like I say, for tempos as well. As you can all these shoes. Spoiler alert, most of the shoes in this lineup, if not all, most shoes in general, you probably can run fast in if you really want to. It just means you turn your legs over faster. That's how you run faster. However, obviously, some shoes make running faster feel that little bit easier. But yeah, you can run fast in any shoes. You can go run a 5k PB in a pair of bloody Nike Pegasus if you really wanted to, but I mean, it might be difficult. That brings me on to the next one in the lineup. The Hoka Mac X Frees, for me, are a little bit on the clunkier side when it comes to a non-carbon plated fast shoe alternative. I think these suit long tempo runs, threshold efforts, things like that. I personally don't like wearing these for shorter track reps or shorter intervals in general. They are plated, they're like a plastic plate, and they are fairly responsive, but like I said, a little bit clunkier in comparison to the other ones. I don't know what the weight of these are. I believe these retailed originally at 170, and I think you can probably grab a pair for about 130 something pounds at the moment. These are a solid choice in terms of they just feel safe. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just feel like a safe shoe to run those sort of tempo runs in, but also feel like you're running in something that's a little bit more responsive than like an easy running shoe, if that's even a thing. But yeah, these are a solid choice. But here's my controversial opinion, because what we're going to do is we're going to go on to the next one, which are the Hoka Mac X2s. Now, these are the older version of the previous shoe, and in my opinion, the more superior ones. Sorry to the team at Hoka who obviously tried to get better, but I think you took a step back. I think these, for me, were one of the best shoes in this lineup. I don't know if these have slightly more of a rocker, maybe the support is a little bit more, but I feel like I would be more comfortable in using these for shorter, faster reps as well. Getting a lot of dirt on my table. These are also, again, same, they're plastic plated, but yeah, I really like these, I've got a decent amount of mileage out of these, and I would still put these on for the odd session here or there. But yeah, very solid choice, and I believe you can grab these at the moment for a touch over 100 quid, which in my opinion, get yourself a pair of these, because yeah, when they bring the 4s out at some point, I imagine in the future, I hope they go back to more of this design. I don't know what makes this better than the 3 in my opinion, but it just feels better. Next shoe, guys, we have the Saucony Dolphin Elite 3s. Only joking. Of course, these are carbon plated shoes. I was just checking that you guys were still listening. These are brand new, by the way, and these are the shoes I'm going to be racing in at the London Saucony 10K in a week's time from this video. So yeah, fingers crossed. I've tried these out on the treadmill, pretty good. I just threw these into randomly flex because these retail at about 300 quid at the moment, and I've got my hands on a pair of these, but very good. But these are not non-carbon plated. These are definitely carbon plated. So yeah, these do not count. Just checking you're listening. Next shoe. The Under Armour Velocity SPD, which I think stands just for speed. These shoes, haven't had a bunch of experience in these. I am going to say off the bat, go a half size up in these shoes specifically in comparison to any of the other shoes that you might have worn before or the other brands. Fit a little bit snug, but I have done, I think, 2 track sessions in these. Can't give you a solid opinion of buy, but I like them. I think these are pretty cool. They're more of a natural feeling, like speedier shoe. Don't believe they have any form of plate in them, but a solid choice. And again, similar to what I said about the Mac X3s, they feel safe. But I would say these feel a little bit faster than the Mac X3s. So yeah, these are a solid choice, and I believe these retail at about £120, which I think is reasonable for these, because you could just go on an easy run in these. There's nothing about these that screams that you have to run fast in them, and they're only built for running fast. I like these from what I've experienced so far. And if you are a fan of the Under Armour Velocity line, they do have the Hover HOVR Plus foam on them, so the same foam that they have on the Velocity Elite 3, which is their super fast carbon plated alternative, which I actually really like. It's probably one of my favourite carbon plated shoes. Very underrated in my opinion, the Velocity 3. These also solid choice. But yeah, on to the next one. It wouldn't be a shoe video without including the probably the most popular running shoe on the planet, the Adidas Evo SL. The hype when it comes to these shoes is for the average person, the average Joe jogger, the average runner. These shoes make you feel fast, right? These are a pair of shoes that I think when they came out, people were buying them as like an everyday runner. They can go do their easy runs, their long runs in, and then slowly people realised actually these are quite fast. Maybe it's the foam, maybe it's the Lightning Strike Pro foam. I don't know, but I'm not gonna try and be like one of those cool kids that's like, yo, they're so overrated, they're trash. They're a cool shoe, they look cool, and yes, I also think if you want, you can do tempo runs in these, you can do some, intervals, you can do some thresholds in these, but like I say, you can do that in a lot of shoes. But what I will say is also a very affordable trainer as well, so it is an all-rounder. Let's be honest, you can do pretty much anything in these shoes, which is what I think most people love about them. These are another pair of non-carbon plated running shoes that you can run fast in, basically. You probably know the retail price of these or what you can grab them for, but I'll let you know anyway. These retail about £110 brand new. I don't know why I said that as if I'm going to say what they are secondhand. I'm not. Yeah, about £110 brand new. Would I recommend them? Yes, I would also say go half a size up to the other brands that you wear, because I find these fit a little bit snug. But yeah, it is a good shoe, but it does get a lot of hype. Guys, chill out. It is just a running shoe. Adidas done a really good job with these, because as I say, a bunch of other brands have now tried to come out with the Evo SL killer, and it's just like, final pair of shoes that I've been talking about. It's not these. Oh, no, it's not these. The final pair of shoes, last guesses, go on, throw them in now. What do you think of the pair of shoes that I'm going to throw in here? You ain't going to get it. Like, and if anyone gets it, cheaters, absolute cheaters. All right, last shoe, you ready? Boom, the Asics Super Blast 3s. Now, Canaan, what? Isn't that like a super trainer, like for long runs and stuff? Yes, it is. But these, like, look at the size of this, right? The thickness, right? The thickness of these. I'm telling you now, these, they don't weigh anything. I don't understand how they've done it. They're so light. And the way they're designed, I actually really like doing tempo runs in these. Like, I've done a few long run pickups, or whatever you want to call them, where, not those sort of long run pickups. Long runs where you pick up the pace. Don't get carried away there. Yeah, these are really good, like really good for running quicker, in my opinion. Now, would I go extreme and say you can, sprint around, do 200-meter reps in them? Maybe. I actually might. I'm not even joking. I really like these shoes, and I think a lot of other people enjoy them too. As an all-rounder, just like one shoe for everything, and then maybe a carbon plated shoe for race day, you could get away with. Genuinely, I want to say get away with. You could thrive with, not get away. These, I love them. These are my favourite long run shoe, but also they're up there in terms of tempo, and I could threshold paces in these. And I probably, do you know what? I might even do a video of testing these on the track. Let me know down below in the comments if you want me to test the Asics Super Blast 3s out on the track in a speed session, because I think these could fly. Like, they just feel good. They just feel really good. These retail at about £200. And these, if you're not counting the Saucony Elite 3s that I, stuck in the middle of this video just to test your attention, these are the most expensive trainers in this lineup, and they are the most expensive by, quite a long way, probably about 50 quid. They are in that tier of super trainer, and with these, I kind of see why, because they are so light. Like, you've got to feel it to believe it. They are super, well, pardon the pun, super light, and I do see the hype in these. Like, you could have a couple pair of these and just bang everything in, genuinely. But anyway, let's get these out of the way. Those are my favourite non-carbon plated running shoes to run fast in. Almost forgot to mention, you can grab all of these shoes on sportshoes.com for a cheeky 15% off as well if you use my link in the description and my code Canaan15 at checkout. So for example, those Super Blast 3s, I think they retail at about just under 200 quid. You'll be able to grab those with my link and code for just under £170. So that's a 30 quid saving. Not bad, not bad. Sportshoes.com. Forgot to mention that. Drop down in the comments which ones you think I should try, because like as I say, I am a sports shoes ambassador. I do try to remain impartial when it comes to the brands. This was my honest opinion. I hope that showed through on the camera. I'm not just saying this is the best shoe in the world, this is the best shoe in the world, because some shoes aren't. But these ones, I've trained in all of them, and I think they're solid choices for non-carbon plated running shoes to run fast in. But like I say, drop down in the comments any others that I need to try out and get onto sports shoes and ask for a pair, because, you know, I'm clouted like that. Do you know what I mean? I'll be getting the free running shoes and that. And that is about it, guys. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know. Do you want to see more product type content from me? I do tend to get quite a lot of free shoes, so I am open to doing some more running shoe content and giving my opinion on them. But yeah, as always, see you in the next one. Don't cry. Don't beg.